In Rishikesh, when we were traveling to Lakshman Gufa and Ram Gufa, we encountered a person. People around him told he was 700 years old. His name was Parshuram Baba.
In the Indian Vedic tradition, is there a path for women to pursue?
There were so many Rishikas in the past. Ambharani was a Rishika in the Rigveda. So there is a Suktam in her name. For scientists, Chidambaram is geological center of gravity. Mooladhara Kshetra of the earth is in Kanchipuram. Not very far from Agnilinga is Jalalinga Kshetra near Tiruchi of Tamil Nadu. Every half an hour or 1 hour, the priest, he removes the vastram on that linga and he'll be squeezing. There'll be water all the time.
Yeah, this is, someone's left brain, they can't wrap their heads around this.
Somewhere they had 1,000 branches of studies. 3 of them are alive now.
Out of the 1,000?
Yes. Scriptures say Vedas don't disappear.
We have a very special guest with us today, Vinay Bharadwaj, who is the coordinator for the Gurukul here in the Bangalore Ashram. He is deeply committed to reviving ancient traditions, the Gurukul way of teaching, and he has a very unique background, a very unique journey. He has a graduation in electronics, but now he finds himself in the Vedic world. My time here in the ashram, I've seen you in the Gurukul, taking care of so many kids, coordinating all these activities. The first question that comes to mind is, how did you find yourself in a Gurukul, taking care of a Gurukul, especially since your background and your education, your life before this has been very, I don't want to say non-Gurukul, but electronics engineering, and now head of the coordinator at the Gurukul. How did that come to be?
To be frank, I did not find myself here. I was put. So Gurudev told me to take care of Gurukul. In the year 2017, August 15th it was. That is when Gurudev put me here. So it's been 9 years. Coming to my journey, it has been interesting. It has been interesting. It has nothing to do with my education. My family, it's an Orthodox family, deeply connected with so many masters. So I find myself connected with my master.
They didn't have a problem that you're leaving your corporate job and everything and you're...
Absolutely not.
They were perfectly fine.
They had no option, to be frank. So before that, before coming to Gurukul, I travelled with one of Swamis of Art of Living, Swami Suryapadji, for almost 6-7 years. Then I came to Gurukul.
The minute you were there, you knew that this is what you wanted to do, this is something
Definitely
that you
not.
wanted to...
I was asked to do some research on 16 samskaras.
Mm-hmm. Which is, what are the 16 samskaras?
Whenever in Sanatana Dharma, whenever someone is born, from birth to Jai Gurudev, there are 15 samskaras when he is alive, he or she is alive. After someone becomes Jai Gurudev, there is 16 samskara, which is...
Samskaras are?
Samskara means purification, not exactly purification. It's betterment, we can say. Samyak karoti iti samskaraha.
These are rituals or this is...
Yes, they are rituals.
Each one is a ritual?
Yes.
So human beings should be performing 16 of these rituals?
15.
15 while they're alive?
Yes. For example, Upanayana is a samskar, wedding is a samskar, Garbhadana is a samskar.
Samskar, when people say, from what I know, it's impressions, samskaras, past life impressions.
Yes.
This is a different...
That is what makes you what you are today.
Right.
Samskar as in the incarnation or reincarnation, whatever it is. That is what makes whatever you are today. But whatever we want to become. As a Sanatani, we always aim to become something better than what we are. So these are the samskaras to the jiva, not to the body. So Upanayana is a samskara, it opens the doors to the divinity, Gayatri, and Vivaha, that is when someone takes a vrata of Agni. So the day he gets married, he'll be, from then onwards, he'll be maintaining 3 Agnis at home. Then he'll be called an Agnihotri. Different samskaras for that.
So is it, I'm sorry, a little tangent, but you caught my interest now. So each one of these samskaras or rituals, could one say that they're there for us to overcome those samskaras and move on to the next phase of evolution? No.
Definitely. They are just meant for the betterment.
Okay.
As a boy.
It has nothing to do with removing those samskaras. Okay.
Definitely not. Samskara is given for the betterment.
Okay.
So betterment, whether you get rid of something or whether you achieve something, that's different. That's up to you. Basically, the path you choose for yourself, that is different. Immaterial of the path you choose for yourself, your sadhana, you may be interested in yogic path, or someone may be interested in devotional path, or some may be interested just in doing the work, karma yogi. Difference. There is a difference, but samskaras are the same for everyone.
And everyone should do those.
Yeah, Shastras prescribe that everyone should undergo these samskaras. But if someone is unmarried, he loses one samskara.
Really?
Vivaha samskara is gone.
That's interesting. I mean, you would think that so many lifetimes we've been married in a lot of them. And if you want to overcome that, we do it again in every life.
That's a choice. That's a choice.
So to overcome the samskara of marriage, you have to get married again. Because you're saying that's an important samskara.
Because in our scriptures, grahasta ashrama is, described as a banyan tree, which gives shelter to so many other creatures. Grahasta, he is the one who maintains all the three other ashramas, Brahmachari, Vanaprastha and Sannyasi.
Marriage and Brahmacharya seem to be pretty contradictory to each other. How does that work?
If you want me to put it in simpler words, we cannot equate unmarried and Brahmacharya.
For sure,
as one.
absolutely, yes. But in Grahastha life, Brahmacharya, it seems, at least looking at it very superficially, you can't separate the two out. Like you can't be a Brahmachari and be married. Like marriage requires not being a procreation, not being a Brahmachari.
No. Brahmacharya does not mean being virgin or not getting into sexual activities. No, it is not that. Brahmaiva charati iti Brahmachari.
Everybody, I think, has the opposite idea what Brahmacharya means.
No, Brahmacharya means he has to concentrate on one particular goal. If he is a seeker, spiritual seeker, for him Brahma being the only goal, all that he can do, all that he can think about, all that he can talk about is just Brahman or the ultimate. So he is Brahmachari, no matter whether he is married or not.
Physical relationships, sexual relationships have nothing to do with Brahmacharya. But then why are sannyasis and saints who are supposed to be Brahmacharis, and I think before they become officially like swamis or saints, they have to be Brahmacharis first. Why is abstinence a part of Brahmacharya prescribed? If sexual relations have nothing to do with Brahmacharya, then why is that prescribed as part of?
There are two phases to it. Basically, the Brahmacharya you are talking about is not abstinence, to be frank, celibacy.
Right.
Celibacy is maintained just to give birth to the best creature. Virya is one of the dhatus, just like we have blood. Unlike the modern science, Ayurveda says Virya is a dhatu.
What is Virya?
Virya is a semen, the fluid. So, if someone goes on losing it, it gives rise to many more things which cannot be treated so easily in Ayurveda.
Loss of prana, I think one could say that.
Loss of prana is yes one such aspect. Someone, I remember reading from some book. Someone says it takes equal energy. Imagine you want to create. You are making blood. You have some energy to make 21 drops of blood. It is equivalent to making one droplet of semen. The energy is the same. So what you are losing is too much.
So a lot of the body's prana and energy goes into making semen, which is a very in terms of purification, blood and every other part of fluid in the body. That is the most amount of work, so to speak, for the body to make.
We can say the most expensive.
Most expensive.
Most expensive, yes.
So that's why it's prescribed.
Not just that, whatever you think, whatever you are, whatever you do, everything has an impression on all the bodily fluids. So, in order to give birth to best progeny, the best offspring, you should maintain all the fluids of the body in the best of their positions, the best of their conditions.
Very contradictory to the culture we live in today. Because, I mean, yes, absolutely. To have kids, intercourse is required where you will be expending semen, but you're saying it needs to be preserved and only be expended for that one act to have the highest soul or form of progeny. But that's not, I think, what anybody in the world practices.
Ideally, it is supposed to be like
that. But then, interestingly, how does it work? For example, some Gurudev said this, Brahmacharya is happening. But then a lot of people prescribe, like they aspire to be a saint or a swami or a, somebody on this path, and they have to go through that phase of Brahmacharya. I mean, for some people it might be very difficult, but they have an aspiration. Is it a happening, or it can be something that can be trained and somebody can...
Both. Depends on where we are. So some people, I have seen them. So all the time they are engrossed in the Tattva Chintanam. So they don't have time for anything else.
Tattva Chintanam is...
Thinking about one particular. Tattva means that one. Whatever you aspire to be, whatever you want to achieve, that one principle, that is Tattva. Tattva Chintanam, all the time they are engrossed in that. If you go to Vrindavan, you will not see people, engaging in mundane activities like what we do in other cities. Vrindavan is a different city altogether. You will see people, crying for themselves, talking within themselves. I don't say imagining. Maybe they are getting a vision, I don't know. They call themselves Sakhis.
Sakhis. What is this?
Sakhi means a friend.
A friend, right.
Or a beloved. No matter whether it is a man or a woman. They call themselves Sakhis. So that's a different form of bhakti. So there are so many bhavas. One such bhava is Sakha bhav, where they consider themselves to be Sakhi of Krishna. So they want to, that highest achievement is getting into the rasa bhav, which is total communion. That is how they are. They don't have time for, many of them, they even neglect their food, water, the basic needs. This means it is possible.
So, if someone wants to be closer to God, someone wants to completely devote themselves to the pursuit of being one with consciousness, being married, being brahmachari, not being brahmachari, these aren't obstacles.
Definitely not. We have seen examples. We have seen Prahlada. So he achieved the highest at a very tender age of 8. Dhruva at 5. Then we have an example of Paramahamsa Ramakrishna. He was married. Lahiri Mahashaya, he was married. All the sages were married.
But then why is it prescribed for somebody who's formally becoming one who is like in my head, and I'm not very well versed in the ins and outs and the do's and don'ts of being a saint, but it would seem that a Swami is somebody who's formally decided, I don't want anything, I'm just pursuing one-pointed pursuit of God. For that role, so to speak, for a lack of a better term, they're expected to be brahmachari. So someone would say, no, you have to be a brahmachari to pursue that. But then you're saying anybody can. Brahmachari is not...
To become something, we need some formal training. For some, it may happen naturally. So, we have an example. There was a boy by name Venkatraman. So, he came to Tiruvannamalai. So, all that he had in his mind was 5 letters, Arunachala. He was not worried about anything else. So, all of a sudden, he felt his clothes are unnecessary. He removed all of them. He just kept a loin cloth for himself. Whatever money he had, with that he got his head shaven. Then he gets into the, underground. There is an underground temple in Tiruvannamalai. He goes there and he sits in meditation for 21 days or 41 days, so many days. So he is not even bothered about his body being eaten by termites. Some other saint comes and then he brings him out, then he nurtures him back to good health. That's happening. For him, it happened naturally.
So it's just intense longing and devotion.
For him. For someone else who has, because basically the sense organs, they are designed to be, perceiving so many things.
Going outwards all the time.
Yes, they are always outwards. If you want to turn them inward, some practice
is required.
Some training is required. Maybe Brahmacharya as a ritual is one such process. That's what I think.
So, a slightly difficult topic. Women, for example, they would also like to pursue this path, but formally in the Indian Vedic tradition, is there a path for women to pursue to
Definitely.
to become
Definitely.
saints and to be a rishi or also to be a swami?
There were so many rishikas in the past. Ambharani was a rishika in the Rigveda. So there is a suktam in her name. What she found, what she had darshana of, Ambharani Sukta. There were so many rishikas. Interestingly, today's people may not agree with, but it is said that all those rishikas were atirutus, means they did not have the basic border of monthly cycles. How did they achieve? It's
We don't
again a mystery. We don't know.
From what I've seen of the Gurukul, the kids who are trained there, especially in the Agama school, they're expected to be married and not be brahmacharis.
Yes.
So, and they are also in the pursuit of God. They're actually in temples, praying to God, pursuing the highest. But for them, it is necessary to be married.
Yes.
How does that work? Like in one tradition, you're supposed to be unmarried. In another one, in your pursuit of God, you have to be married.
No, here everyone has to go through 4 ashramas. For many of us, it's just 2 or 3 ashramas. We don't transcend into the 4th.
And when you say ashramas, can you...
Ashramas is a phase.
Phase of
Brahmacharya ashrama,
of
when
life.
someone is a celibate, probably. Then grahasta ashrama, someone who is married and who takes responsibility of all other 3 ashramas. Brahmacharya, vanaprastha and sannyasa. Vanaprastha is someone who is tending towards renunciation. He's totally not, he cannot give up all of a sudden. He's in a phase where he's kind of tending towards within. So, and sannyasa, one who has renunciated everything. So, grahastha is supposed to take care of all 3. That is why grahastha ashrama is called banyan tree, which gives shelter to so many creatures. So, all the rishis, they say, dhanyo grahastha ashrama. Because it is the ashrama which takes care of all other 3 ashramas, socially, physically, mentally, because they are supposed to feed them. Grahastha, Brahmachari is basically a student. He is not earning. Someone has to feed him. Unlike the modern education system, earlier children used to go to the guru, like Gurukul. So gurus used to teach so many children. Someone has to feed them. So away from the home, children should have a loving mother, caring father, with a kadi nazar bolte hai na. That's what strict father. That is why there were guru and guru mata both. When it comes to agamic tradition revolves around temple. To be able to maintain certain amount of sacredness, sanctity, they have to be grahastas, the Agama Shastras say, because they will be involved with all sects of society. So there are ample chances of someone, getting distracted from their goal.
So someone who's not married,
Yes, that's what I mean.
they will get distracted from...
They may get.
In what way?
Someone might, for them, the only goal is the supreme. If someone is interested in something else, imagine someone has a shop next to it. If he is interested in whatever something is being sold in the shop, so his goal is gone. So he is blessed with all the means. Grahastha, he has dharma, artha, kama and moksha, all 4. For a brahmachari, it is dharma. Artha comes later. Dharma and moksha. For him, not even moksha, just dharma. As a student, brahmachari, I mean a student. For grahastha, he has means of life. How should he earn whatever he wants to eat? How is it earned? That becomes artha. And how to earn? There is a framework of dharma. In the framework of dharma. And then whatever his aspirations may be, they have to be in the frame of dharma. So Krishna says, dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. If your aspiration is not against the dharma, then think that I am that karma, I am that kama, I am that aspiration. Then obviously if he is not distracted anywhere else and he is single pointed in grahastha ashrama, because there is a wife to take care of his needs.
Right.
So he can be easily focused.
Can we put it in this way that being a priest in a temple, you have to touch every aspect of society. Like you have to,
Yes.
you have to interact with people. You have to essentially touch every aspect of society. So you yourself have to be involved in every aspect of society.
Yes.
Which is why being married and being in the grahasta ashram is required of that role. So coming back to the Gurukul, from what little I know, there is a Agama school and there is a Veda school. So these are the two schools
Yes.
in a Gurukul. Before we get to that, traditionally, what is a Gurukul? Like, how is it different from today's modern way of education? What is, if you could describe, is a Gurukul?
I just want to repeat what Gurudev says. So it is Guru school.
Guru school,
Yes. So it is not Guru's school. Yes, it is Guru's school.
Someone could say the Guru is cool.
Yes.
No, that also.
Our Guru is cool. Guru means something the biggest. So it is, subtler than the tiniest in the creation, and it is bigger than the biggest. So that's what Upanishad says. Anoraniyan mahato mahiyan. Just like ourselves. It is subtler than mitochondria, for that matter, and it is bigger than planet Jupiter. Maybe it is bigger than the Milky Way galaxy, because that which encompasses everything is Guru. So when that Guru, the Tattva, the principle, expresses itself in a person, so we have to be so fortunate to get it. So the Guru, comes with an aspiration to recreate, to reunite all that lost strings of the society. What he wants, all that comes into picture is a Gurukul. He wants to teach. He does not want to teach. We want to learn. So he is ready to teach anything. Whatever he has, he is ready to give. So how do we learn? We have to be with him. And how to be with him? There should be a place. And what is that place? It is called Gurukul. For example, if you take our Gurukul as an example, so children want to learn Veda and Agama. Veda, you know what it is. The most ancient literature available on this planet. Agama they are we can say, later development of Veda. When Vedas are so tough to understand, so the layman like me, I don't find it so easy to access that knowledge. For me, I cannot relate myself with something which is unseen. I need a means. I need a means to relate with that unseen. That is when probably the concept of puja, worship and upasana came into existence. I think so. So just to make it a proper thing, so there should be a framework. So if there is no framework, things can go eerie. That is why rishis made a frame. That is called Agama. We created a space for worship, where anyone and everyone can come, and they take part in all the rituals which happens there, which gives them solace, physically, mentally and spiritually. All the scriptures which revolve around taking care of this sacred space is called Agama.
So performing the pujas, the rituals around it.
Not just performing puja, it starts with the consecration of a temple. It gets into such a deep state where the sthapati or the sculptor, he goes to the hillocks, he tests the stones, whether it's a male or female or it is important.
Stones have...
Yes.
Someone would say that seems insane, that stones
do have.
Gurudev has spoken about stones having everything as a unit of prana, but there is male, female and neutral gender with the stones also.
Yes. Imagine, I can give you an example of a South Indian temple. That's what I am comfortable with. Imagine that there is a deity and there is a pitha below. So there are two different structures. So the pitha below has to be a feminine stone, which bears the masculine deity or feminine deity, whatever it is.
How do you identify? Like all stones just look like stones. How do you know which one's male, female? Is there like a
sculptor
test?
knows it.
Really? So they're taught on how to identify?
Yes. So
there's a science behind identifying which stone is male, which stone is female.
Definitely. And there are particular dimensions given in Agama Shastras for different deities. That is called Aya. That is called Vastu. That is where Vastu comes into the picture. where designs come into the picture. If there are different ayas, means different styles of architecture. In Kerala, you will see, just the back side of the sanctum sanctorium is curved. It is called Gajaprushthakara. There is Dvajaya, something which looks like a flag. Then there is Vrishabhaya. So many ayas are there. For when it comes to a temple, to be frank, so agamas, they are very particular about that aya. And what should be the dimension of the sanctum sanctorium? And there are different combinations.
So every detail of constructing a temple, everything they have to be
And
well
how to consecrate it, and what should happen from day to night. Imagine some temple opens at 3 a.m. in the morning. What should happen first? What comes next? What happens next? That is agama.
So it's very interesting. So a temple is supposed to be a place where people pray, but they can pray at home also. Is God more in a temple and less at home? Like how does a temple have more of God than any other place? Is it through the pujas they invite? Like, how does that work?
Can I give you a very common example?
Yes, please.
So we have air everywhere.
Yes.
This is a very common example people give. We have everywhere air, but why do we push it into a rubber tube and call it tire? Air condensed somewhere is called tire.
Or like Gurudev says, fan. When you stand next to a fan, you can feel the air.
Yes, exactly.
But air is everywhere.
Because that so many minds putting attention on a particular deity, so that gives the power. And it has a backing of scriptures where everything is purified.
So that's why the rituals and the pujas and everything that goes into it is so important, because I guess you want to hold the divinity in that place.
Yes. If you look at how tulsi leaf going inside the sanctum sanctorium is purified. There are means, there are methods how to purify a tulsi. It is sprinkled with water from the conch, not anything else. It is not washed. So like that, there are different methods for everything. Water which is poured on the deity. So many condiments have been prescribed. Only that condiment goes with that deity, not anything else.
This is highly intricate and precise.
Highly intricate.
Science.
Yes.
For each temple, each deity.
Yes.
My experience with temples is limited. I've visited a few. So I remember we had gone to the Shiva temple in Tiruvannamalai, yes. And is that the fire
element?
You could feel the heat.
Yes.
Like it was, and we went in a cool time of the year. It was pretty cool and breezy outside. And obviously there's no air inside, but still it was hot. Like everyone was sweating. And I was like totally, I had to, I felt like taking my clothes off. It was so hot. So how does that work? I mean, that's what we were describing right now, that the divinity is concentrated in that place and the quality is of the fire element.
Not just fire element. If you go to the space kshetra, Akasha kshetra, Chidambaram, the moment you step in, you are spaced out. So that is where, in my personal experience, that is where I think I experienced, meditation with open eyes. I didn't even know what's happening. So after I realized I have been standing there for almost 1.5 hours, I don't even know what is happening. So that is how kshetras work. So for now, for scientists, Chidambaram is geological center of gravity of Earth. So in Puranas, there are mentions of, imagine human being, human body has 6 important centers. There are so many for that matter. 6 important centers. Like that, the earth has so many important centers. So Mooladhara Kshetra, the base of the spine of the earth, is in Kanchipuram. Similarly, and Nabhi Chakra, Manipura Chakra of the world, of the earth, is in Tiruvarur, in Tamil Nadu. And Agnya Chakra of the earth is in Kashi. And Sahasrara is in Kailash.
Oh wow, interesting.
So many different places. And you mentioned Agnilinga. Not very far from Agnilinga is Jalalinga Kshetra, near Tiruchi of Tamil Nadu. That linga, if you sit there and observe, every half an hour or 1 hour, the priest, he removes the vastram on that linga and he'll be squeezing. There'll be water all the time.
Yeah, this is, I mean, someone's left brain, they can't wrap their heads around this. How does this happen?
That is why it is called mystery. When we have no logic explanation, because we have so many temples where scientists are helpless in helping us to understand what is the main deity made up of.
This is where science absolutely, science cannot explain everything. Science is incomplete.
It cannot.
Science can't explain everything. Science is incomplete.
As of now, maybe in the future it can.
But why does God reveal himself or herself to us in these small miracles of like a temple where it gets very hot, you don't know how, like you described, the cloth covering the shivling has water coming up. Why does he just come out and say, here I am? And, then everybody's a believer.
No, here...
Why is he playing games with us? If he came on, if these miracles would just be bigger on a larger scale, the whole world would be a believer.
If you look at the temples, there is a wonderful plan in the architecture of a temple. So you will not have plain walls in the temple. The main deity, after you have darshan of the main deity, you go circumambulate the sanctum sanctorium, pradakshina. So in the pradakshina path, there are so many pillars which have so many mystic stories. That will end up, that will instigate you to question what it is. Why am I even here? If that happens in you, you are lucky. That is when the search within starts, the journey within starts. And end of the day, it is not the God who has to reveal. He has to be felt within.
So it's faith. That is the important part.
Maybe faith is the key. Faith is the key.
And if everything is revealed, there is no faith. For there to be faith, there has to be a certain amount of unknown. That this may or may not be true, but I have faith it is true. That's how faith comes. Is that fair to say that the objective of...
I have seen a person, I want to give an example. I have seen a sannyasi. So earlier, he was a great scholar of mathematics before he took sannyasa. After he took sannyasa, he found some tiny mistakes in the traditional texts. But his faith to his guru was so unmatched. He thought, my guru cannot make this mistake. That is, that's what, probed him to, conduct extensive research. And he revealed the mistakes what the tradition has been making. That was revealed very recently. He was Swami Paramanand Bharati. So he was a head of the Department of Mathematics in Chennai IIT.
Wow.
And he was a great scholar of Advaita Vedanta.
A man of science and a man of faith.
Yes. So he found that there is a tiny mistake that is leading the seekers elsewhere in the path of Vedanta.
Which is what?
That's too theoretical here.
Okay.
So there is something called Vishaya and Vishayi. Vishaya is the senses. Vishayi, one who is perceiving the senses. So it goes on fixing who is the ultimate Vishayi, who is the ultimate perceiver. So in some of the traditional texts, there was some tiny mistake made by one person. He took elsewhere. So after maybe 21 years of his ascetic life, he could find it. Because he said his only conviction was Adi Shankara can never make a mistake. That faith, it drove him to the real goal, the reality. He could find it. Now he has a beautiful group of shishyas. They are now spreading the knowledge. So it's happening.
What Gurudev said about the three qualities of God, one is hiding.
Tirodhana.
Correct. So essentially, the hiding is to create faith, to create devotion. Because if something is apparent and right in front of you, there is no need for faith in
Because everything is visible.
right.
Someone made a statement, great person, I don't want to name him. So he said, the creation is reality. It is real. There is no chance you can call it non-existing. Vedas say that. Then someone else made another statement which is very interesting. He said, Vedas did not come here, Vedas did not arrive to tell you what exists, what you can see, what you can perceive through your senses. Vedas are there help you to understand something which is unseen, which is beyond your senses. So that is where faith comes into picture. So just like we are using some Google map, Google. Imagine I want to make some recipe. I don't know how to make it. I am trusting Google. It is giving me the recipe. I am trusting the Google and then making the recipe. No matter whether it turns out to be good or bad. So I am trusting the Google. Similarly, we should have faith, trust in the scripture, in the Guru. That comes first. Even for a scientist, he has to trust his beaker. He has to trust his test tube that it won't explode. Then only he'll be able to go ahead and conduct some experiments. Similarly, these are very minute things. When it comes to spiritual path, that is why they say a lineage is important. Lineage has so many souls who have experienced, who have experimented in their life, and they have found it works. So that is why we bow down to the lineage of gurus. It's not a single man, appearing all of a sudden he reveals something. It is not so. It should be time tested. So there are so many people. For us, it is from Narayana to our Gurudev. So many people, so many enlightened masters who have experimented every possibility and they have found, yes, this works. Whatever works is passed on to the next generation. That is why Guru Parampara.
But interestingly, in when we say temples and the people who have faith in temples, they have faith in God and this unseen God. And usually the physical manifestation of that, which is a guru, they can't kind of wrap their heads around, okay, it can be in a human form. They're so totally directed towards the unseen form of the divine, which is, how do we balance the two? Like, how do we tell someone, because a lot of people who have faith in temples, and they have faith that, I have a temple, God is there, and everything else is, how can God be in a human being? How do we reconcile the two?
That is where Shastras or scriptures come into the picture. So Shastras go to the extent of asking a seeker to test his guru.
Okay.
Shastra gives clear lakshana, eligibility criteria to be a seeker and to be a guru. Guru does not have to, satisfy all of them.
It is for the seeker to satisfy himself that
yes, he should have that checklist. So Guru has to be Shrotriya. He should have fair understanding of the scripture and Brahmanishtham. His sole, focus is towards the Brahma, the ultimate, which we see in Guru. But for a mundane seeker, for example, like me, I don't know any Guru. Yes, I know some Guru. There are two cases. So scripture says, because if I trust in the system of temple, obviously I have trust in the scriptures, because everything in the temple happens as per the scripture. Then first and foremost sentence of any scripture is Shri Guru Sarva Karana Bhuta Shakti. The first instruction given to any seeker is, don't see difference between the deity, mantra and guru. All three are the same. We have a shloka, Ishvaro Guru Ratmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine. One who expresses himself as Ishvara and Guru and the Self. All three are not different. The same says, scripture says, don't see difference between these three. Vedas say, Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. One who has seen, one who has experienced Brahma becomes Brahma. So there is no difference between them.
Right.
One Purana goes to the extent of, it says, Bhedakrit Papakrit Bhave, Tatayor Vidyate Bhedaha. The Brahman and the Guru, there is no difference between them. One who finds difference is a sinner.
The way at least I think of it personally is like the guru is somebody who's like, God was like, okay, you can't conceive me, you can't see what I am, relax, I'll take a body and come help you out. Is that is that a way to put it?
That's a possibility.
So coming back to the Gurukuls, and since you are somebody who oversees all the activities of a Gurukul, from education to taking care of the kids, in today's modern world, where education is solely weighed on the basis of job prospects, and whatever you study is so that you optimize your ability to get a job later. Is it very reductionist to say that a Gurukul education only makes you fit to get a job as a priest or as a saint, and you can't do anything apart from that? That's incorrect.
Definitely not. It is not so.
But then the kids, do they learn physics, math, and everything else? Like how do you reconcile the two?
For example, both are science. It's Vedic science, and the other possibility may be the modern science, what you want to call it. Two aspects. Once again, let me give an example. If you want to become a doctor, you should learn medicines, you should learn anatomy, you should learn physiology. Similarly, we want to make them Shastravits. We want to make them scholars. Before that, we want to make them human beings. So, in any society, it should have a firm foundation of samskaras, a fixed framework of dharma, and there have to be some people who know what it is, and
to uphold it.
Yes, there have to be some people who can assist people, in pursuing their life as per the frame of dharma. So that is why we need balanced beings who know both the modern science to certain extent and the scriptures, and who understand what it is. So that is where Gurukul comes into the picture. So today we need to rewrite our concept of education. Earlier we had so many astronauts who were products of Gurukul. They did not have quantum physics. They did not have nuclear physics. But somewhere it emerged from within. This means scriptures have everything. Only thing is, we are not trying our best to explore what scripture has.
So it's not this or that.
It can
Today,
be anything.
it's a bit of, has to be a combination of...
It is. That is why our ashram is called Veda Vignan Mahavidyapit. It is not totally Veda. It is not totally Vijnana. But it is both. It has seen totality of Veda and totality of Vijnana put together.
Yeah, and like you said, scriptures tell you about who you are. The mind, like what actually are you? And in a way, if you don't know who you are, what will you do in the world? Like Gurudev says, neither in school nor at home are you taught how to deal with your mind and emotions. That's, I think, what the scriptures teach you. And you need that as a basis to be
that is one part of the scripture.
A solid human being. And once you're that, then you can add the quantum physics, you can add the math. But that foundation of just being a human being who understands my mind, how it works.
No, there are people, there are astronomers in the society. There are doctors in the society. There are chartered accountants. There are people of different professions. But there is one thing is common. They all need, growth with respect to spiritual, mental and physical realms. There has to be someone who can guide that. Let us say Gurukul student. So
schools just take care of, I guess, the mental part of it, where you're...
not even that.
Not even that, yeah.
Not even that. They are inducing unwanted stress, unwanted anxiety in the minds of young children. We have seen society going elsewhere. Young children are committing suicide. That is not what we were expecting to be.
Yeah, and all the kids, I mean, today, I don't think unless you're going into some kind of very specific research field, you're not using calculus, but yeah, you'll deal with a breakup, you'll have a stressful boss, you deal with that, but nobody teaches you how to deal with your mind, but you're taught calculus, which you rarely might use. So I think that's where the Gurukul way of learning is something that needs to be incorporated in today's modern education to create a more holistic human being.
Yes, holistic society. Holistic society. Because the work starts with an individual.
And Gurudev says global peace is not possible without individual peace.
Exactly. Imagine there is a huge bowl of milk with just droplet of lemon juice. It's gone.
It's gone.
So every droplet needs to be attended. So in Gurukul, that's what Gurudev has structured. The structure is, so they undergo all sorts of training. It may be physical. They have to be healthy. So they undergo physical fitness trainings. Mental peace, they have their chantings, they have meditation and other practices. And spirituality, they have to discover themselves. That is where the highest, highest level of scriptures available on this planet, Veda, they are taught. And more than anything, they have exposure to both the worlds. They are not refrained from the modern world. We don't do that. So they get a pinch of both. So on basis of what this education, we can create better human beings. And he has to be full of human values. He has to be intellectually capable, physically capable, mentally capable. And spiritually, he has to be torch bearer for the society. That is Gurudev's aspiration.
Interesting. You said something very interesting earlier, that astronomers from the earlier eras,
Yes,
when there was nobody actually going out in space, the scriptures actually do describe constellations.
yes,
They talked about sun, earth and the solar system before Galileo. Anybody even came and there was a telescope. They could even go out and look at distant heavenly bodies. What was it? Just sit and meditate and you go there? Like how did they, like how does this work? That's what people can't wrap their head around.
There is something called tapas. Tapas does not mean you should sit idle in a place, close your eyes, or look at the tip of your nose and do something. No. It can be that also. Everything, the discovery happens from within. So today we hear that some Copernicus gave us the heliocentric model, which means sun is the center of the solar system. It is not so. You go to any temple, you will find Navagrahas, and in the middle is the sun.
Exactly. I have been to a few temples where they have the way it's arranged. Like you first go, there is Chandra, the deity, and then the sun, and the entire kind of solar system is mapped out. And these temples are like thousands and thousands and thousands of years old.
Yes.
So what happened? They just closed their eyes. The way I've been able to wrap my head around it is everything is one consciousness. So I close my eyes, I can go wherever I want if I'm totally still and connected. Is that how this works? Like what?
There's something called Sanyama. Sanyama is when you are able to dig into the ocean of consciousness and you are able to get what you want. That is called tapas. So doing Sanyama on one particular thing, one can get to know what exactly it is. That is called darshana. It is not something to be downloaded, just a click, you download it. No. Darshana is not something seen, or it is experienced. Rishi, that is why one Kavi says Rishi Kranta Darshi. He is a revolutionist. He has experienced it. He has not just seen. I am looking at the microphone, I don't know what is inside. But if I have had darshan of this microphone, I know everything. What works within, what is the basic component of the microphone, what is that which is making it work. That is darshana. That is where our traditional education comes into picture. So we are, imbibing them with this wonderful samskara. this wonderful tool.
So, for example, black holes are something that have been recently discovered, but our scriptures talk about it from, like, they have described it in a lot of detail. Same
Yes.
mechanism.
Yes.
Is this?
Yes, yes,
It's just
yes.
about connecting with that information and then downloading it and describing
Downloading in modern terminology.
it. Yeah, you just said they don't download it, but they get a darshan.
Darshana. It's not perception, it is something beyond perception. Perception is where our organs and senses come into picture. It is beyond senses. It is beyond senses. For example, in Rigveda, there is a part called Vimana Sukta. So, Wright brothers found it very recently. But Vimana Sukta is so many thousand years ago. He has written it. There was Dr. Jagdish in Bangalore who made a prototype based on Purusha Sukta of Rigveda. He said it draws some energy from the cosmos and converts it into electricity. Unfortunately,
That knowledge
his
is
idea
lost.
was not nurtured. It's lost.
Yeah, a lot of this knowledge is lost.
Because the Sahasrashaki Samaveda. Samaveda had 1,000 branches of studies. 3 of them are alive now.
Out of the 1,000.
Yes.
So we need more people sitting and just reviving this again.
Scriptures say Vedas don't disappear. It just requires, right people to discover them. So we are hoping right people show up and they bring back the lost treasure.
You had also talked about temple architecture. It seems the way they're built, just the size, scale, carved from a single rock. We can't do, like, for us to do that now, it just seems impossible.
Impossible.
And nobody has built anything like that. Is it possible we had better technology back then? Everyone was...
Definitely. If you look into Ramayana, Srimad Ramayana, Rama travels to Ayodhya from Sri Lanka through Pushpaka Vimana, a spacecraft. But very recently, we found out something which flies in the air.
Yeah, someone would think that he had a stealth jet back then that he used to travel.
And Ramayana and Mahabharata both, they talk about Astras. Astras are not mere weapons.
People say this is science fiction. This is all myth. This is not true.
No, I have seen someone who demonstrated it in the year 2013, if I'm not wrong. So we went to Kodungalur for a conference. So then there was a person. He introduced himself as descendant of King Vikramaditya. He looked like he was 35, 37, but later he revealed he was 62. He looked like 30, 35 maximum, young man. So he demonstrated what an Astra can do. He asked, many people were there.
Astra weapon.
Astra is not a weapon. It can be invoked in anything. It is basically an energy, subtle energy. It can be invoked in anything and anything can become your weapon. So he asked one of us to get an ash guard. So one of my friend went to the market and he brought an ash guard. He said, keep it some 15-20 meters away from me. He just took a blade of grass. He chanted some mantras which we could not understand. He just threw it. The ash guard blasted into pieces.
You saw this happen?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. I heard that he's initiating so many people into Dhanurveda. It's the original science of archery. It's not just archery. There is something beyond.
Yeah, all this is lost. I mean, you see it in the TV serials where someone is chanting to the arrow, they fire it, and it blows up the entire army.
Not necessarily an arrow. It can be a blade of grass.
So this is the power of mantra.
Yes.
All this is lost. I mean, is it?
No, it is still there.
It is still there.
It is still there.
But the stories that you heard of people then in that yuga, just doing this, they thought of something and it just manifested, and they chanted a mantra and fired something, things blew up, and they could just fly. It seems science fiction, but it actually happened. What was the difference between those people and us? Is it that they would say something and it would happen? Now, I mean, a lot of people wish they could say something and happen. I want $1 million, boom, it happens. But it doesn't.
No. The difference is they knew where to focus their senses on, which we don't know. For example, even today there are people. If this is my experience, I have seen one of my friends. He never got angry with anybody, so he would not utter just chit chat with anybody. He would just keep calm and observe everything and just live. He was my college mate. So one day I was just making joke of him, fun of him. I said, I heard that you are not well. All of a sudden he turned towards me and said, maybe you are the next. Next day I was ill.
Yeah, I think so. What you're saying is everything we do has a lot of power in it, but
Yes.
we just talk too much, or
We are not worried about spending our energy. So it's just boring.
and also and a certain clarity and stillness in you gives you that strength to just manifest, which we are missing as
That
a
is
society.
where scriptures talk about Trikarana Shuddhi. Everything comes in triplets. It is not one thing which is working. It is the focus you are putting on it. It is the word you are uttering about it. It is the consciousness which makes it happen. Even in the physical realm, you are doing something. All the three put together. So it's the work.
So that the souls then were very elevated levels of consciousness who could,
Which we already are.
but we're not tapping into it. That's where dhyana, sadhana, everything, having a guru comes into play to elevate that.
What we are doing probably, so there is a wonderful shloka. Sahi shita nivratyartham himashela nishevate. Someone wants to get rid of the cold. For that he goes to Himalayas. It makes no sense. Sa aharam vinanunam kshanivrittim abhipsati. Someone wants to get rid of hunger and he does not want food. It makes no sense. That's what we are doing. We brand everything, whatever our ancestors practiced, as something senseless, and we are in search of all those whatever they have achieved through different means which are not proven. What is already proven, we don't want them. Which is not proven, we are searching for it. So yes, there had to be some space for discovery, yes, but not at the cost of losing what our ancestors already achieved.
I mean, every discovery, indication of existing structures, like even the pyramids or even the temples that we have across the globe, indicate to a much more advanced civilization, a much more evolved consciousness than what we are today. Seems
Some of the kshetras, they are designed to achieve some particular benefit. Some particular benefit. You might have seen many temples where if you go, you just hop in and come out. You experience that space where you are like, you are not worried about all the anxiety, whatever you are worried about. You're just free.
your mind is clear. That's why people go to temples. It clears the mind. You're just in a
Not
space.
every temple.
Oh, really? Some temples
Yes.
will do the opposite?
Yes. Because there are some temples where if you go, you will be blessed with progeny. There are some temples.
Even if you don't want it. Like, let's say I randomly walk into a temple,
When
which
you
is blessed with, I go in, like, next thing you know, I have a kid. I should want it, right? No?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. When you want it, and if you go there,
Okay.
so it manifests.
All right. Now, good to know.
There are some kshetras where people with inability with respect to progeny have been cured. Not just the progeny aspect, many aspects. There is a kshetra in Andhra Pradesh, Basara. Children with difficulty in their education, difficulty in learning. So if they go there, there is some particular energy which helps them cure. It is proven.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling. Like, science, modern science, medicine can't help them. But somehow going to a very specific temple
Yes, our ancestors could find out what is there, which kind of energy is activated there, or probably they activated it. We don't know, which was already there, or they made a they made an instrument to get better benefit from, or I don't know which they might have invoked it.
It just goes to show modern science is highly incomplete. Like it's
Now, after centuries and centuries of so-called research, they have come to a point where they are forced to believe something called God particle, which Maharshi by name Kanada proposed thousands of years
Higgs
ago.
boson, the Higgs boson part. Yeah.
It's happening.
I'm forgetting the name of the scientist. I think it was Schrodinger or Max Planck who said that the more I sip the glass of drink from the glass of science, I find God sitting at the bottom of it. Which it's just true. Science can only get you to a certain point. Beyond that, there is so much more. Which how do you explain these things? Where you go to a temple, people are cured of illness. Thousands of years ago, mantras could just manifest.
Recently, something happened in my vicinity. A Vedic scholar, unfortunately, he fell from a greater height. He got his, lumbar region totally, it was gone. There was, we could not hope for betterment. So it so happened, he was taken to one particular temple in Odisha. He stayed there for 20 days and he observed whatever the temple priests asked them to. After 20 days, he could walk. I couldn't believe what's happening. Later, I learned that that particular kshetra is known to create, cure people of any problem, any physical problem related to the bones. I was like, when modern doctors, they said we cannot do anything else. Time has to cure him, but he was cured in 21 days.
Science can't explain the things that we see, the things that Vedas are describing. One of them is we read books like, there's a famous book, The Autobiography of a Yogi, where they've talked about people living for more than what's a normal human lifespan. In your travels, have you encountered anything like this?
In Hrishikesh, beyond Hrishikesh, when we were traveling to Lakshman Gufa and Ram Gufa, so we encountered a person. He barely covered his body with a loin cloth. People around him told he was 700 years old. His name was Parshuram Baba. He always carried an axe on his shoulder. That's why people called him Parshuram. So he never spoke. People have
like he was like what does a 700-year-old person look like? He looked like a normal.
He looked like 45, 50 years old.
Really?
Yes.
And how do you verify that people's fathers and generations of
no, when it comes to verification, yes, I have seen a person near to Bangalore. People say he's 700 years old. I met few people who have seen him maybe 60 years ago, 70 years ago. One person told me his father has seen him. He looked the same way how he is today. So when we went to him for the first time, we were amazed. He has a horn on his head. Something.
Is he still here? Is he still?
Yes, he's still there.
Near Bangalore.
Near Bangalore, yes, he's still there. I did not expect a horn on a living human being's head. Next time when we visited him, he told us he was trying to chop the horn, and there was a translucent structure which looked like a resin of a coconut tree, brownish resin. It was there on it. I thought it must be some infection. He said it's a money which is appearing on his horn. So
there's some incredible things out there which science cannot explain.
Exactly.
And how do you explain? Like he's doing some yogic practice. He's
probably
to elongate lifespan.
There was a pontiff in Bangalore who rarely ate anything. So he had achieved something called Vatahara Siddhi. For him, air could supply the nutrients. So if someone pressurized him, he would just take a pinch of poha and put it in his mouth. He was a pontiff. Recently he left his body. So many days he would be just, engrossed in his tapas, his anushtanams, meditations. We have seen such people.
I think in today's day and age, everyone is so consumed with their senses, eating, watching, seeing, feeding them, that not giving in to the senses and not eating for long periods of time, it's just unheard of. But it's possible.
There was a saint near Hassan, the present Hassan district. He was popularly called by his Shishyas as Gurunatha. So, one of my uncles, he would visit him often. So, he carried a huge, bunch of bananas to him. So, there were so many people around him when he went there. So, he thought he has to wait for some time. He was sitting on the below one of the trees. Then, huge bull, it approached him. He thought, this will eat away the banana I am carrying. I want to give it to Gurunatha. He just lifted it up. He kept it elsewhere. The immediate response of the bull was, it looked, disappointed. It left a huge, exhalation, and it left. It did not do anything. So after so many people left, he went to that sage. Then he said, "Don't come. When I came to you for the banana, you did not give me." So, so the modern mindset, we don't know how to explain this.
Yeah, it goes to show, science is very limited in what it can explain in its purview and its reach, which is why the education from a Gurukul education that encompasses a lot of Vedanta and just gives you a glimpse in the ability to go beyond what science can give you is very important today.
That's what we want to, nurture them. We want to nurture that capability when they are open. We are open with them, whatever they want to do. If they want to take up a life of an ascetic, wonderful. Go ahead. If they want to get married and lead a grahasta life, wonderful. If someone wants to become a spiritual leader, wonderful. There are some children who have been serving in most of the temples. Mm-hmm. I would proudly say, any temple in South India, go there and just say, Jai Gurudev allowed. Our student will be there. Wow. So that is how Gurukul is. So we have children from all the backgrounds, very humble backgrounds. Some of the parents, they are scientists. Some of the parents are IT professionals, and very humble backgrounds as well. So slowly the modern society is turning back towards our traditional education.
I think people would love to know, obviously we have a Gurukul here in the Bangalore Ashram. How does someone go about giving their kids a glimpse of this education, and where all do we have our Gurukuls across India?
We have 14 Gurukuls across India. So that includes Bangalore Gurukul, Pune, Nagpur, Jabalpur, Farrukhabad, Hrishikesh, Tehri, Chamba.
Is there a website where someone can go and learn about the...
Yes, it's in our Veda Vignan Mahavidyapit website.
Maybe we can leave the link in the description of this video.
Definitely. If you want to know, if someone wants to know something about Gurukul education, they are free to contact us.
Okay, so I think we'll leave contact information and the link to the video in this.
Sure.
And this description. I think that's what Gurudev, it's insane what he's done. Obviously, what we see of what he's done in terms of bringing mental peace to 180, 190 countries, to millions of people across the globe, giving them the opportunity and the tools to have a stress-free life, have peace of mind. That's the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more. Like what you just described, reviving ancient traditions, bringing traditional Gurukul education to the world. It is so needed in today's day and age. And I think what Gurudev is doing, especially you're so deeply involved in this aspect of his work,
I'm blessed
where he is bringing these ancient practices. And one could Sudarshan Kriya as an ancient practice. So, I mean, everything is reviving ancient traditions and practices, but specifically in education, specifically in bringing the knowledge of Vedanta, the Gurukuls, it is revolutionary. And I'm sure you must feel lucky to be part of this revolution.
It is both revolutionary and evolutionary.
Absolutely.
So,
and I'm sure you must feel lucky to be part of this
100%,
revolution.
100%.
Just like at least I feel in whatever little way I'm contributing. I would like to thank you for your time. And I think there's so many more stories you have, which I would like to get into. And I think we should do a part 2 of this.
Sure.
I think everybody watching would love to see a part 2 whenever you get time from your busy schedule.
Sure.
Thank you. Jai Guru.